What's today? June 13th, 14th? What's today's date? I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither.
It's Saturday in June. It's the Saturday after D-Day, so it's Saturday the 13th, June 13th, 2020, 12:01 p.m. Eastern Time, and I don't know what time it is in Franklin Land. Yeah, dude, so I've been following all your... Jesus, now you've got 3 helmets. Frankly Built, for everyone listening, Frankly Built. He was episode number 49 and is a 3D printing prodigy. Yeah, dude.
I wouldn't use that word.
Shut up, Frank. Yeah, you are. It's... Dude, so...
I've got...
Yeah. Just take it over.
I've got 7 helmets now. These are production models. These won't stay here long.
Jesus, dude.
But yeah, I've been busy.
Yeah.
They've been coming out pretty nice.
What are you doing? What are you doing for the damage? Is that printed damage or do you damage it post production?
I damage it myself.
Yeah.
So that's what they come out looking like.
Okay.
And there's a couple different paths I can take to damage them. I can damage them before I paint them. I can damage them after. I'm testing theories and just like what's easier, what's not. I did one like this a while ago, a battle damage Mark 85 helmet, and it came out nice. I did all the damage, so I printed it. You know, it just was a raw print. I primed it. I damaged it, and then I painted it. So I wanted to try it the other way. I wanted to try it, all right, let me paint it first and then do the damage. Turns out I don't like doing it that way.
Really? I thought it would come out better if you painted it first and then damaged it. Maybe you'd get some like realistic flaking or cracking.
Well, that's what I paint. So that's why I did a lot of the deep damage beforehand.
Okay.
Like the big scars, like the blowouts in the back.
Yeah.
What I did is I painted the whole helmet, or I damaged the whole helmet for the most part. Then I put chrome over the entire thing. Then what I did is I taped off all of the damage so the chrome was still there.
Oh, okay.
And then I painted everything else.
Okay.
And then as I would go by and sand it or scratch it, the chrome would reveal itself.
Okay.
So it actually gave it a much deeper effect.
Okay.
So now this one, since I damaged it after, I had to go back in and hand paint all the chrome. And so it just added kind of another step. It was either tape off all the chrome or painted it afterwards. I'm going to go back to the other method. Yeah. So I just wanted to try it out.
Yeah.
They still came out. I like them. I still think they came out nice, but it just took longer.
Yeah, okay.
So.
With the right eye, or my right eye, I guess it's left eye, on the damaged one, for the lighting, did you have to do like separate, is that just different coating for the lighting, or did you have to put in separate LEDs to get that? Okay. All right.
It's just cracked. It's the same lens.
Okay.
I just cracked it and broke it in parts.
That's awesome.
It gives it a pretty nice effect.
It does.
The way these helmets are wired up is when the faceplate clips on, it lights up automatically.
Yeah.
So somebody can wear it and then like they'll pop off the mask and they can talk to you or whatever and then just right on. And then they still have a battery pack in the back to turn them on or off.
Fucking mad scientist.
I'll do one for you. You can see through them just fine. I don't know if I had any helmets done last time we did like a live stream like this.
No, you were trying to. I remember you trying to put it on. Oh no, you put it on for a little bit. I remember you talking.
That's it. So I'm getting better at them for sure.
Dude, you're getting incredible. Jesus, dude. I mean, that looks like Marvel movie, like studio set. Jesus, dude.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a. You can probably hear me just fine, actually.
I can hear you perfect. That's incredible.
That's nice.
Yeah, and you don't have. It doesn't have the bobblehead effect. It doesn't look like It doesn't.
This one's actually a little big. This one could be a little bit smaller, honestly. I have one that is a little bit smaller that was made for my head instead of just the general populace. But
that's awesome. That's awesome.
It works. I like it.
Now, have you thought about going to like the next level and it'd be like create like some sort of like Jarvis interface on the inside? Have it like a viewfinder, like, or a hood selecting people around you. Like
that'd be pretty cool.
Some Google Glass augmented reality, just start tagging people.
A lot of people have said stuff about like Google Glass, and that'd actually be pretty fun. Dude, being able to incorporate something like that into a helmet. I don't know how yet though.
You'll figure it out.
Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfect.
Sounds okay?
You're perfect.
Cool. I got a microphone now. I can move around.
When you tap it, it's fucked up. But yeah, no, it's perfect. Jesus.
Cool. Good.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do any of that shit. So This whole first suit that I made was all it's all analog. It's all direct wiring systems. It's switches and triggers and stuff. There's no programming. I think we talked about that the first time a little bit, how I kind of went with a different direction than everybody. The new suit I'm making, though, that's when I'm going to dive into all the programming and stuff and using Arduinos and microcontrollers, because the new suit it has a lot more room for everything, a lot more room for activities, if you will. So I'm going to dive into that, and then eventually what I can do is go back and apply it to other things, you know? I can upgrade some things. I did see a kid's toy at a store. It was actually kind of cool. It was like a 8-year-old's Iron Man mask. You know, it was just like the front, you know? But the faceplate lifted up, and it just like had a hinge right here. But then underneath it was a clear acrylic goggles, I guess. They were just like this, but they were clear, and they had etchings on them. So when you hit them there were 2 blue LEDs on the side. So then when they lit up the lens, it looked like a HUD.
The grid lighting, Yeah,
and I was like, that's actually kind of cool. Yeah. Like, it was like real cheap and shitty looking, you know? But I'm like, that's actually like kind of a cool idea, you know? Because getting something, the other idea was, which one is this one? The other kind of idea I had, so this helmet, the faceplate doesn't come off, it lifts, right? So the idea was, almost have like a little LED system in here, so when it's all the way up, it like projects onto your face.
Oh, that'd be badass.
So that'd be kind of cool. Like once it goes all the way up, it lights your whole face up.
So you'd have I was gonna say it's you always see like there's like the camera angle in the movies. There's like Iron Man third person. There's Iron Man from what he sees, but then there's always it's his face. You know, Jarvis, give me an update. Like blah, 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 blah. That's what I thought. Exactly. Yeah, that's what you could do is just kind of project numbers and scrolling shit.
And maybe it just has like just a couple little, or just even just light your face up blue. I mean, at the very basis of it, having your face lit up blue, I think would be just
get some like pie charts or something, and just just some bullshit, just some
like a very simple like type of system.
Yeah, just some sci-fi bullshit. Just
it can be something from like Superman.
Yeah, dude, fuck yeah.
This one doesn't fit me the best anymore, but let's see if we can get it to work. So the jaw doesn't like staying on this one. Okay. But it's activated when the mask comes down.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer the hinge or just the magnetic?
Both.
That one looks really clean. That one, there's something about that one that the other one doesn't have.
This one's fit to my head better.
Okay,
this is scaled down a little bit.
There you go.
But I even have trouble moving my jaw. It doesn't move though.
Yeah.
It's much more form fit to my face.
Yeah.
But this one's not for me. This one's for a customer too. It was originally going to be for me, but I went with a different route. So I decided, I'll let this one go. But this was a test. This sizing was like a good test for, will it work? This is my favorite helmet. This look, this style, the maker, the guy who made this, Akira Yuming. He's on CG Trader. And this is like the best, most accurate helmet I've found. And it fits nice. It looks nice. It has those nice, like, the angry eyes, I guess.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. A little more offensive.
Yeah. Where the one I was using before has like a little bit of a softer face.
Yeah.
So I think it still looks good. The gold on this came out great. It is like, it looks metal. Yeah. I'm proud of this one.
that one looks a little more like the drones. You know, when they're like attacking Strucker. Yeah. Yeah, when and the drones are going out, we are here to protect you. We are here.
Yeah, yep. I can see that.
Little soft, which is probably by design, a little softer, a little less like dystopian, like, whereas the other one looks a little more, like gonna fight Thanos. Yeah. Yeah.
It really they lends itself really good, but I think they're the same model helmet. Yeah. But that just shows like designers just
the eyes. Yeah, it makes makes the world of a difference.
It's neat. It's fun to get into.
You need to go in the full suit and go out right now during the riots. Just be like, please return to your homes. Please.
Please return to your home.
Yeah.
We are here to protect you.
Yeah, we are here to
return to your home. Well, that'd be kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, I was looking up iRobot the other day because that made me think of, because iRobot came out in like 2003, but it's when they literally do the curfew in Chicago.
2008, that's when it came out.
Because I remember watching. No. No, because I remember watching it with like my best friend my freshman year of high school, which would have been 2005. Check out iRobot, see what it is. I think it's before '05.
That was a good movie. I like iRobot.
I loved it.
That was a very good movie.
I loved iRobot.
2004, good guess. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's well, because I always remember it opens up with 2035, and I was just like, man, that's so far away, and now I'm like, oh no.
Oh, is it? No way. 2035?
That's how it opens up, Chicago, 2035. And now we are now closer to 2035 than we are to iRobot, right? So, yeah, by a year.
No way.
Yeah, way. Yeah. Which, I don't know, I feel like that could be accurate. I mean, Boston Dynamics, I don't know.
I guess,
autonomous cars, yeah. Hyperloop, they kind of have Hyperloop in there too, right? Not really, but I mean, they have the tunnel where they're all driving like 180 miles an hour.
2035. Holy shit.
Yeah, I have a weird memory, man. I have useless shit that I have stored up.
What, 15 years? Yeah, 16, right. 15. My 1 year.
Yeah.
There's a science channel I watch on YouTube. It's probably one of the only channels I indulge myself with because the rest I feel is just, I don't know, it distracts me.
Yeah.
Kyle Hill and Because Science, and he was just recently talking about where's the next where's my flying car?
Mm-hmm.
It was this whole movement a while ago, or just through back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, everybody's like, we're going to have jetpacks and cars are going to be flying.
Yeah.
Like the Jetsons, I think, are based in like the year 2000, like 100.
Oh.
Like it's not some advanced, crazy future.
Yeah.
It's like, there was this joke, where's my hoverboard? That was it. That was the most recent one. And
Back to the Future one, yeah.
But what's the next thing everybody's been like, but there hasn't been one. There hasn't been this one day we're going to have this. What is that thing that people would always rave about back in the 60s and 70s,
It's got to be, I think, self-driving.
Electric cars, maybe? One day cars will be electric. Well, they are.
Yeah.
So, what's next?
I think ubiquitous self-driving. Because right now, it's like it's still in relative infancy. I think it's going to get to a point where, driving on your own you're going to be an outlier. You will.
No, that has to be the paradigm shift. That has to be the...
Well, it absolutely will.
What's up?
I said it absolutely will. I think that's the closest to, because my brother has a Tesla and he'll it's fucking awesome. And every once in a while he'll just send me videos and it's just pulling out of the driveway, driving along, merging onto the highway, doing 80, switching lanes, and the entire time he'll just have his hands like that, not touching it. And that's definitely that. I mean, that mixed with Uber and Lyft. I mean,
it needs to happen.
Yeah,
exactly. If a company, it's not going to be Uber. Uber's gonna go under soon.
Oh yeah. You saw how they were like, we're going to make a deal with Tesla so we can do their self-driving cars and then our pickup app. And Tesla was like,
never let it happen.
Tesla was like, why would we match with you? It's harder to make to make a self-driving car. We can make the app to get a ride.
It's a pickup app. It's like ordering food. You had an innovative idea. The platform. I mean, I'm sure there were a couple hundred people when Uber came out who were like, I had that same damn idea.
Yeah.
It wasn't revolutionary.
No,
man.
someone just capitalized on it. Someone just made the cash.
Exactly.
No, they have no bargaining power.
It doesn't matter if you have a unique idea. Can you sell it?
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, all Tesla has to do. How cool would that be?
I was thinking community Teslas.
Every Tesla dealership, when the cars aren't being sold or at the dealership, they're out just Ubering.
Well, that's what I thought. Is because they have bikes like that in cities. They have bikes in there that are you just pick it up at any one of the 100 slots, and then you just go. It's in Manhattan. It's in. Yeah. What if it was just you're not using it? Why pay for a Tesla that you're gonna drive? For what? Maybe if you have a long commute, it's maybe 10% of your 24 hours awake. We're not awake 24 hours in the day.
I think there were apps starting to emerge where you rent your car out to people and stuff like that, almost like a Airbnb, but with vehicles.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you're commuting and you live in the city, or you don't need your car X amount of hours, why not rent it out? As long as you have the right insurance, who cares?
Yeah. I think it would be easier with autonomous, because if it was people driving, there'd be so much there'd be so much like not red tape, but like paperwork. Like, what if someone fucks it up? Who are you? Do I have a background check on you? Versus if it was 100% autonomous,
that's it.
You could negate everything.
It's gonna happen. It has to happen because it is. I'm a car guy. I love driving. I go to drift events. I love driving, but I know damn well how dangerous it is, and I know how bad of drivers people are.
Yeah, it's nothing about, hey, well, I don't need a driver. I am a good driver. You probably are a good driver.
You're a good driver at the speeds you've been driving, but now if everything on the road is capable of doing.
Yeah. Frank, where'd you go? Franklin. You back?
Yeah, I don't know what just happened.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it froze up when you said every other car is capable of, but yeah, driving a lot faster. Yeah, it's not that you're not a bad driver; it's that every other jackass on the highway.
Exactly, and it's going to be either everybody, you have to get on board with this, or because you won't be allowed to. You know, we're used to being able to drive. Well, people used to be taking horses everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know what? People started looking, well, you have a car? Well, I'll use my horse. This is easier. And it's like, is it though? You know, so there'll be a shift. There'll be a lot of issues with that, I'm sure, but eventually it'll be a cool new world. And then eventually everybody will just have like Iron Man suits that they like fly around in.
Do you think it would be that, or do you think everything is just going to become like virtual? Because in terms of like, think of how much cheaper it is if everything was just virtual instead of having to like create more and more shit. If everyone can just plug into a unit in your house, you can go into an infinite world. You don't need to build bigger and bigger malls and sports stadiums.
I think that's another conversation. Like, if there's a lot of people who believe that's peak society. If you could reach a level of your existence where I've read way too much up on this, and
upload your consciousness.
Like, instead of you could be spacefaring and have enough energy, but to what end? To just expand the human population, or if you can find out a way to make enough energy and harness enough energy where you could simulate such a precise, unbelievable reality where everybody could literally have their own heaven or paradise, and you transcend to that. What's the point of moving past that?
Exactly.
You know, that's it.
That could be the reason. That could be the great silence. That could be the Fermi paradox. Why go light years if you can just create Shangri-La on your planet? That's Ray Kurzweil's idea, right? Upload everyone. He's the. Do you know who Ray Kurzweil is?
Well, I don't know about the Fermi paradox.
You what?
We could be the first. We very well could. I don't think we are, but we could be.
I think nuclear weapons are probably a bottleneck. I think.
See, a lot of things are a bottleneck.
I think there's like a couple bottlenecks, and it's like an exam. You have to pass a couple of exams. I think we've passed the first big one, which was nuclear, and we passed that in 1962. I don't think
we're anywhere near past that yet.
Well, I mean, the big
there's
test.
Too many people still with their finger on the trigger.
Yeah.
So there's
the big test.
We're still hardly a Type 0 civilization.
Fuck you,
and
Frank.
That's pushing it. that's pushing it. Like we're one wrong plane crash or one wrong tank crossing a border from hitting World War III, and that's not advancing.
Yeah.
You know, we're making advancements for war mostly.
That's very true. Yeah, I like to think of it as like we passed the Cuban Missile Crisis, and that was like exam 1. Exam 2 is COVID, and then exam 3. Yeah, I don't know what exam 3 would be. It would be. It'd probably be global warming. That's exam 3. Can you figure out a new energy source? Can you reverse your damage? That's what I think it is. And then
I think we're on a good path to it.
Yeah, I think we're walking on the razor's edge.
Changes people aren't going to like. Cutting back on meat consumption, red meat consumption, and gasoline cars, and there's going to be a lot. I think America's unfortunately going to be one of the bottlenecks for that, and consumerism.
Probably.
Like, well, I want this. Yeah. I've always had it. Why are you taking it away? It's like, because we can. Like, you know.
Yeah. I think that's where like the virtual world, because I've talked about this before. If you ever look at like retrofuturism, like old predictions of what the future will be like, It's always an extrapolation of their technology. It's always a linear extrapolation. So if you look at there's a magazine in 1900.
No, exactly. You can only imagine what you have imagined.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like in 1900 they predicted everyone would have their own personal hot air balloons. It's they took their thing and extrapolated. That's the
future. Yes, exactly. Cell phones weren't a thing. Now Star Trek starts making these communication devices in their original show where you can talk to anybody anywhere at any time, and eventually that got a bunch of nerds. Or what if we had these pocket devices where you could call somebody from, and now it's just this incredibly ridiculously powerful object that, I mean, if you showed this to somebody 100 years ago, they'd have a panic attack. They wouldn't even be able to comprehend what it was. Give me any number and I can make, one of the most powerful things on our phone is the damn calculator. We never use it,
And the camera, man.
Wild.
Dude, I got to talk about it.
It can track you. It can listen to anybody. It can show you.
You can download
unlimited information.
You can download Google Earth and you can look at a replication of the world in your hand. That would change the tide of any war up through Vietnam.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
One imaging satellite in orbit in World War II would have been very different.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine that. I mean, that would have been insane. So on that note, what I think is whatever we always think it's going to be, it's always something far different. So we look at it as how are we going to get more resources, population, the burden on the planet? How are we going to do all this? But what if it's something we're not thinking about at all? What if through Neuralink we find a way to actually upload our consciousness onto this? Well, all of a sudden the entire need for food goes out the window. If you can abandon your biological meat body, the entire need for food goes out. The entire need for materials for housing goes out because it's just digital. Yeah, you have a virtual world make a skyscraper for everyone to live in. Make it a million stories.
Everybody could have their. If you haven't yet, you should look into a Jupiter brain. You should look into that whole
Jupiter brain. I'll write that down.
You should definitely read up on what a Jupiter brain is and what it is capable of. And we might be in one right now, and there's no way to prove it without making a Jupiter brain. Okay, so it's a simulation theory paradox where we could be in one right now. You could be a figment of my simulation. I could be a figment of yours. We could be in the same simulation.
Yeah.
And there's no way to know, because there was one thing I read. It's if you had a baby born, right, just fresh out of the womb, and you strapped the most advanced set of virtual reality goggles on it, ears, touch, everything, but that's all it saw, and it wasn't even good graphics. I'm not even saying it's good it's low poly res graphics, but they can touch everything, they can hear everything, they can see everything, they can smell everything. That baby would never know what actual reality looked like. There'd be no way to know. And we very well, in some advanced way, could be in that, and there's no way to know unless you were able to go and make something like a Jupiter brain with almost infinite processing power, which would theoretically break the simulation. Or we make our first Jupiter brain and we ascend. So who knows? It's a real mind meld of just not so like the Matrix, but without machine overlords and all that dark stuff. But hey, could be.
I think the idea that we can create video games, to me, that's enough proof right there that we're in a simulation. If we can already make crude simulations where I can go in and I can go finish this podcast and then I can go sit down and turn on Grand Theft Auto or Just Cause and I can fly around and blow shit up in a world that, compared to the real world, not realistic, but all things considered, 4K TV on an Xbox One X looks pretty good. It's got great audio. It's the controller vibrates. It's colorful. It's loud. It's the characters develop. So if that is possible, well, then you just have to extrapolate that by 1,000,000 years and be like, okay.
I wouldn't even say 1,000,000. Think about our technological advancements in the past 500 years.
If you can go from a Model T to a Tesla in a century.
We've only been flying for about 100 years.
Yeah.
The Wright brothers' first flight in
1902.
SpaceX just put people in space. We've been to the moon.
Yeah.
We've been to Mars, just not physically.
Yeah.
100 years of flight.
Yeah.
As opposed to thousands of years of human existence.
Yeah.
And just like what? Like that is such a giant. Like the graph was like, whoop, up. Like it's insane.
Punts up.
So what's another 100 years? You know?
Yeah,
We're gonna be on Mars. That's it. We are going to be. We're gonna be in. We'll probably be on Mars in 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll be as quickly as they're saying, but I think like the people who will be on Mars are alive right now.
Absolutely.
That's wild. When we just got on the moon, what? 50, 60 years ago?
51 years ago, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the difference between the Wright brothers and walking on the moon was 67 years.
Isn't that obscene?
That's think about that. Literally these, like...
When you put it that way,
yeah. Think about that. The guys in, like, top hats and, like, three-piece suits, like, all right, Wilbur, all right, Orville, like, crank it up, and they fly on a beach.
That shit's made of wood.
Yeah. It's literally just paper mache shit. And it's... yeah. And then you go from that to literally landing on the moon. It's...
I can make these sci-fi bullshit toys in my house now.
Like, just in our lifetimes.
This is just a technology. Like, I was having a conversation with somebody I talked to on Instagram, but like, okay, how far off from this is like a real Iron Man suit? Like, really? Like, what is the difference? I literally don't have the technology now to make it into something I could, wear, fly around and fight, But 5 years ago, I couldn't make this in my house, in my bedroom, or in my, like...
Imagine if you were a defense contractor, man. You could make that shit tomorrow.
Could. Or people like me are going to be making it in 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Metal 3D printing is already a thing. It's just, it's expensive. This used to be expensive. It's come down. Now you can have a 3D printer for $200 in your house. Yeah. And you can make everything I've made. Like, period. Yeah. I haven't printed anything that you're like, oh, you need this super sophisticated printer for them. No, this is all. Now bigger ones make it easier. I've got my hands on a big old $1,000 printer, and I made some big shit with it.
Yeah.
But like, it's just wild that like you'd have to pay a prop master, you'd have to pay a company a couple hundreds and even thousands of dollars or something like this,
Absolutely.
Like, and it's, I can make them for like $40-$50.
Yeah, you just got to think about. I mean, and not only that, we're looking at that as the crazy thing, and it's like, well, what do you do? Oh, well, I post these videos online. I have a channel, Frankly Built, and it's like, but even that part is insane. Like, wait, what do you do? Oh, there's this the internet. Like, you don't even know about that. It's like, dude, if you just go back 20 years, we're looking at this as the 3D printing is crazy, but just like other shit you're doing. Like, that is crazy.
You can put anything you want out there for anybody else to watch, period.
Exactly. Someone like me can make a podcast. Like, there used to be barriers to entry.
Okay.
It's nothing now.
I actually, I think there was a good example of having that reach across the planet now. I thought it was a pretty interesting example. It's going to sound dumb. Veganism.
Sure.
Have you had a Beyond Meat burger or an Impossible burger?
No, but I've heard they're fucking insane.
They're good.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I remember seeing shows in the 90s, and even my parents would remember, oh, you're a vegan? Oh, you're like, what are you eating? You're eating like, rabbit food, and there was nothing good for that option.
Yeah.
But because, you in America working on this new plant-based protein couldn't talk to the dude in France who already figured it out 5 years ago, but neither of you could talk to the dude in Australia who figured out how to take this type of meat and this fat and this oil and this seed and this flour and mix it together and make a meat you couldn't communicate. Now that you can, and my wife dabbles in vegan, and I've eaten some stuff, and I'm like, this is good.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just so minuscule. It's just something, but now that there's this global network of being able to talk and communicate, that you just unlock so much different information. I talk to people daily in just the printing community they're doctors. They're people printing. One dude just posted on my Discord. It was the piece of some dude's inner skull. Like something around here, part of his skull was just
occipital lobe
destroyed. So they scanned it, 3D printed a part, and they're gonna go. I mean, it's a medical grade 3D print, like it's some high quality shit.
Yeah.
They're gonna go and fuse it into a skull, and it'll look like nothing ever happened.
Jesus Christ.
Like, and I talked to this guy, like, because we're in the same
like it's nothing.
realm.
It's just like, oh, cool. All right, see ya.
He's just like, he just posted a picture of it. He's like, oh yeah, this is for a patient, and all of us are like, whoa, you're gonna elaborate on that?
Yeah,
like,
you can't just drop that.
Yeah, it was wild, like shit like that, and like I'm just talking to all these different people making stuff for their hydroponic gardens, and people making stuff for their kitchen or their cars, or selling props or solving problems, making new equipment, prototyping things, and
I mean,
like I can talk to these people. I think I was talking to somebody in Australia just earlier, my buddy Nathan. Like we just talk. That's it. Yeah. It's not like some like, oh my god, you're from Australia.
Yeah,
like
it's just like, what's up, dog?
That's it. It's like, what's up, man?
Yeah, dude, some of my like closest friends are people I've never met in person. But I don't think anything of it. It's not just like, ooh, who's this person? Back
in the 90s and early 2000s.
Are they a sex offender? Who is this?
He's probably a dude. It's not a girl, it's a dude.
Yeah. But now it's just like, it's.
I met my first girlfriend on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, and my parents were standoffish, but tried to be accepting because they saw that like, oh, this isn't our area, so we're not just gonna fall into the no way.
No, it's internet bad. They're gonna kidnap you.
No, turns out, no, she was a real girl. I met her a few times, and it was like, okay, cool.
Dude, same thing in college with me. That's I had a thing with a girl for like 2 years. Yeah. Now,
granted, there still are fakes, but with how easily it is to FaceTime and Skype and just send a picture, it's kind of hard to fake being somebody else nowadays. It's still possible, but it's just way more effort.
You can't be anonymous. I mean, you can be anonymous like to an extent. Like it depends on what your goals are.
You look like you're trying to hide something.
Exactly.
Whereas back then you were just a name in a chat room saying words. Where now it's just like, dude, join the Zoom call. Why can't I see you?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can stay anonymous if like your end goals are nothing past like Reddit. You just want to comment. Like that's fine. But you're right. You can't. Yeah, you really can't go. It's harder to be a creep.
What excuse can you possibly give nowadays not to?
Yeah.
Call people out on it. I've been talking to people before and been like, I'm pretty sure you're fake, and I'll tell them something very specific. I'll be like, take a picture of you holding 3 fingers up in front of your face. Like, you're not going to Google and find that picture, dude. Like, I'd give them something a little too specific so they couldn't find some raw photo.
And if they do find it, be like, all right, now send that exact same picture again with 1 less finger. You're not finding that one.
Like, shit. Oh, you're wearing different clothes, and now you're Indian?
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
And now the sun's on the opposite side. Like, fuck off. Hold on, Frank, I just wrote down the timestamp. I gotta go piss. I'm sorry. I was thinking though, we're kind of going full circle though, and like with deep fakes, soon it might be easier to be fully anonymous.
Deep fake is trippy.
I've seen some deep fake weird, videos.
Man. It is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You're just like, what? Oh, yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, you gotta think.
Do you watch Altered Carbon?
I do not. But I actually just heard that name this morning for the first time.
Write that one down. You want to talk about some sci-fi, trippy, out-of-body stuff? Dude, that show is incredible.
I literally heard that name for the first time before this podcast. I was listening to, like, what is it? It's like the Infographic Channel or someone was saying something about,
It's incredible. It is my favorite sci-fi anything ever. And I have a lot.
All right.
It's such a cool concept of transcending your body and, like, it's awesome. I don't want to spoil anything about it. I promise you'll love it.
Okay.
You'll get done with. You'll probably make it through like halfway through the first episode and be like,
okay. Is it like
what? It's wild.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Get back to me. Next podcast we'll talk about that.
Okay. All right. That'll be my homework.
You'll binge that one. I promise you. You're gonna be like, holy shit.
All right. Don't spoil. Don't spoil. I wrote it down. Don't spoil. I wrote that in Jupiter Brain down. I was thinking though. Just what you said about like things you wouldn't normally think about with like global communications, like veganism, and it's
just little things.
Yeah, but like even
I remember helping some dude in Canada troubleshoot his new printer. He just like I don't know. He caught me the right time on Instagram. He's like, "Hey man, I have a question." I'm like, "Do you want to FaceTime?" He's like, "Oh sure." And like we were just that's it. We were just like, "Oh, what's up? Yeah, cool."
Yeah.
Hey, you know.
Yeah, man. At the end of college, I remember I put all my like MCAT study guides online for free because I had these.
Yep.
I had a friend that was like first generation immigrant from Africa, and another one like first generation immigrant from South Korea. And I had torrented all like the Kaplan classes, Berkeley reviews, and what I did was just like I just put them all together and just got rid of like the overlapping shit, but just made the ultimate MCAT study guide, thousands of dollars worth. But like I was like, fuck that, I'm not paying. And so I gave it to them, those two at first, because I was like, yeah, man, I mean that sucks for y'all, because they're like the smartest guys I know. This is back in 2013. Well, then I put it on Reddit because I was like, why not? I already took the MCAT, like it doesn't matter anymore. Like I got in, I got the good score. Dude, I still get 7 years later, I still get messages from people on Reddit like, hey bro, like you helped me with that, like that got me into medical school. And now it's been so long, they're like, hey man, I'm in residency, but you helped me. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? What are you talking about? But yeah, it's the weirdest like butterfly effect. Like who the fuck became a doctor because of that? Like
yeah.
That's
it.
Another thing was that huge press that's like 50 years old, the Mesta 50. It's a 50,000 ton press that we built right after World War II. They say that if you've ever, like any commercial plane ever, like some part of it has gone through this press. Like we've literally been using it since 1950 because the Operation Paperclip scientists showed plans for these huge presses, and we still use it with like F-22s and F-35s. We still build classified parts with it. I don't know what the importance of having a 50,000. I guess you can make huge pieces and just stamp the fuck out of them, but like instead of building a new one, they recently overhauled it because they said it's good for like another 50 years. yeah. But anyway, they said like the effects of that you don't think of, like that made commercial planes bigger and cheaper, which made tickets cheaper, which made global air travel more accessible, which facilitated just that's what's brought the ticket to the common man. And it's like things you would never think of. This big press, literally this almost like caveman, like it stamp hard. But this allowed, like, what happened from that, you know? How many artists moved to Hawaii and then to Japan and, you know, were inspired and went on to create fucking Pokemon or something. And it's like, you never think anything of it, but it's, like, that's the ripple effects of it. But back to what you were saying about how long until you'd be able to create a full suit. So do you mean, like, working suit, like, not, like, weaponized? Because, like, weaponized, that would be that's what...
Why can't we have both? It really, like... Everything's there now. Adam Savage made a flying. He made a titanium Iron Man suit that flies.
I saw that.
He's beat us to the punch, basically. You know, or he was the frontier, I guess.
Yeah.
And you know, and he just came into. You know, he's been a maker his whole damn life. But he only started making crazy, outlandish things for himself in the past 15, 20 years. Now, what about the kid who, you know, finds me on YouTube or finds some other maker on YouTube, and he's like, oh, wow, like 3D printing, that's cool, you know? And he's 8, 9, 10 years old, and he starts printing now. And by the time 20s, 30s, he's been doing this shit for, you know, that long. He knows it. The technology. This is getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and things are getting smaller. You know, he already has that leg up. It's the same way, like, you know, we know how to use the internet and we're good with phones, but then our grandparents, they didn't grow up with that, so it's a little bit harder for them to grasp that. And I'm sure even somebody as proficient in making as Adam Savage, or, you know, somebody on that level, they still have a hindrance. I think there's because they didn't grow up with it. They had to learn it. Now you have kids who are growing up with this type of technology. It's no different than having a little inkjet printer under your desk. You know, I can print out paper and pictures. Well, now you can print things. You know, it's just you know, you see kids sitting in front of an iPad, and you're just like, well, I never had that when I was a kid, but now it's normal for them to have access to this technology that they just never existed without.
Yeah, so, it's because it's not difficult to learn or use. Like if you brought a caveman, if you brought a caveman and you just like took a couple of years to like teach them like language and just like kind of get them caught up on like a crash course of like history and math, like the shit like we're doing, like it's not hard to learn just from like the get-go. Like learning to use an iPad or the internet, if you grow up with it, I mean, it's really no different than building blocks. And here's the magic URL bar, and you just type what you want with your fingers. Here's how you type, and there you go. You're right. When you don't grow up with it, and there's this huge like development and learning curve versus just Yeah, if you're right, if you're just taught 3D printing, it's just one of the things you do in second
just
grade.
a thing. Just,
yeah.
Like, oh, hey, Dad, I have a science project I need to work on. Oh, why don't you go print out these parts and make a telescope? You know, you can. It's just a tool now that is just accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Hey, where doing research on the internet used to be difficult because you needed to make sure nobody was using your house phone. You need to make sure it was slow. There were less, but now it's just like how to make this thing. It's there. You can have it done.
You use your house phone, your fucking iPhone. you just do it. Yeah. Yeah. Even just like Hey, I need to go to so and so. Yeah, I'll go. Let me get the directions on your phone, and it talks to you and it tells you where to go as you get in a car. Dude, think about how fucking crazy cars are. Again, it's just not something that any of us think of. But yeah, so you get that kid that's 3D printing Iron Man suits from 8 years old. He gets picked up. He's a smart kid in college, and he gets picked up by like Northrop Grumman or something. They bring him.
It could be the craziest thing. It could be somebody doing it on their leisure. It could be somebody doing it. We could have eventually have a use for a full type of armor suit that a soldier could wear. If something like this is going to come to fruition and be a thing that somebody has, defense budget's probably going to be somewhere in that mix. It's probably going to be that type of funding where they're like, we need this thing for this reason.
We have to beat China. Yeah.
Yeah, space is becoming more of a thing. It could be something as simple as that. As some type of exosuit. War is not slowing down. Yeah. It sucks, but it's not. So wherever that takes us in the future, who knows?
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting.
Exosuits have been a thing for. I remember reading like Popular Science in like middle school, early 2000s. Yeah, the idea of like exosuits and this super soldier. And
they're starting to fade away because of just general robotics and autonomy, where
you don't need a person in it.
We did think, everybody's got these exosuits and soldiers. The soldier of the future is running through the field, jumping 50 feet.
Yeah.
But what if there just was no soldier? Why don't we just send a friggin' robot to go do that? Guess what? He can jump 100 feet, and guess what? He can withstand heat. Guess what? He doesn't need to. You're looking at replacing and upgrading the wrong thing. Whereas just the drones, air combat's dead. There is no point. There's not.
It's going to be drone swarms, autonomous drone swarms acting as one unit. You can't top that.
You don't dogfight anymore. No. That's a thing in the past. You send aircraft in there for close, but an aircraft can be replaced with a drone.
Yeah.
The limb factor on an F-22 and F-35 is the damn pilot.
Is the human.
The aircraft can't operate at full capacity because there's a friggin' human in it. Get rid of the human.
Yeah. Get rid of the human. You get some hypersonic thing that can pull Jesus knows how many G's. You could really just do that hairpin turn. Just put a rocket thruster on the bottom. You can just turn who cares if it goes through 200 Gs?
Yeah, I think that'll be it'll be a different jump. Wars will be remote, and it'll be a different world. And hell, I can just be straight up wrong. It could be in this other thing we didn't even think about,
Yeah, because my natural jump is we go from exoskeleton suits where the person's inside to I think, no, you don't even need to have a person inside. You can just have a person back at base operating it, but then it's why even have a person operating it? Why not just have software?
Yeah, AI.
Exactly. Well, then at that point, does it just become a battle between software? You just try to kill the other nation's software before they even get the drone off the ground. Then does it become a purely cyber war?
It does, I think. I think it definitely does.
I feel like that's the next logical step.
Yeah.
Why worry about fighting their iRobots with our iRobots when we could just send in some Stuxnet virus, some NSA shit, and go in and clip the Chinese before they start? Is that not the next logical step?
Yeah.
Do you just sink all the defense money into supercomputers?
One of my favorite sci-fi universes when talking about just why is that a thing in that universe? You ever watch any Gundam growing up as a kid?
I vaguely remember it. I know what it is.
So in the Gundam universe, depending on what series, there's different universes and different, some of them are connected, some of them aren't. Basically, the question rose up, why would you ever make these giant humanoid robots fight close quarters? If you have that technology, where are your missiles? Yeah. Where are your nukes? Where are these huge, why would you do this?
Yeah.
It started because there was a new type of it's a Minovsky reactor, It's a special type of reactor, basically, that gives off a type of pollutant or particle in the air. And what this particle does is it just straight up fries. It blocks any type of infrared radar. It blocks everything. So if you shoot a missile, it just boop. There, you can't lock on to shit. It's all line of sight fire. So yeah, you can still put a couple rockets up, but like all the other thing has to do is move. So it created this need where it opened back up instead of long range combat where you never see your enemy. It opened back up. We need close quarters combat, but. Well, how do we destroy an entire battleship at close quarters? We can't. So it started off as really fast tanks. Well, then we're going to give these tanks arms so they're not just locked forward. They can move forward, but then they can shoot left and right. They can move to the sides. They can move around. All right, well, shit, now we're in a mountain. This tank can't get up that mountain. We need legs. Then it moved to 4 legs, and then it just literally progresses. Like, actually, the human form, yeah, it's flawed, but
it's not
it works.
ideal. Yeah.
So it's like, oh, and when you go down that path, you're like, oh no, this makes sense. So now you have these big robots running into battle, fighting each other, and it's like, oh shit, okay. And there's more to it than that, but basically, like, it's because of just this pollutant in the air now that you can't lock onto shit. It's direct line laser weapons, and it's rail guns and projectiles, and that's it. Get in there, beat the thing up, get out. And I love that. I love that whole universe and just like what it's come to in that.
Yeah. I love I know a lot of people hate them. I love Pacific Rim. Second one kind of sucks.
I love Pacific Rim.
I love
that, and that too. Why do we need these giant robots? Well, the nukes weren't working well. It's silly, but
why are we fighting the kaiju? Yeah, but even them, it's like they never really talk about why. Like, why don't we just have battleships, or like why don't we just what about railguns? What about airborne like a 747 gunship, like a C5 with like a railgun on the side, just like a. Yeah, C-130 on steroids. Like, they never addressed that. Like, that could... Why not?
They could.
Why not do that?
There could have been a couple of different ways they went, but at the end, for some reason, they landed on giant robot.
Which are awesome, but...
Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
There's unfortunately so much wrong with Pacific Rim. Like, Gypsy Danger, no alloys. Well, alloys are a combination of metal. That means that's a fusion of one metal's property fused with another. So that's how you get steel and titanium. So if Gypsy Danger's no alloy, what is it, pure iron?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
There's iron doesn't have that much structural integrity to hold up said thing like that. It would buckle. The knees would. There's not. What?
Yeah.
There's a lot wrong with Pacific Rim, but it's still fun to watch.
No, it's awesome. I kind of like when that one monster has like the EMP blast.
Oh yeah.
That I kind of get into that because I'm like, okay, well now you have to have these like analog like diesel generator or like diesel like muscle cord like monsters.
Well, no, they didn't know about that EMP because up until that point that EMP
hadn't happened.
If you thought what was happening, each monster that showed up, each monster that had successfully showed up had the weakness of the last one kind of cut out.
Yeah.
Because the last one got beat up by 2 monsters. So they sent in another monster with an EMP to disable multiple robots.
Yeah.
So the monsters had progressively gotten stronger. The creators, whoever the hell, they were slowly just upgrading the monsters the same way the humans were upgrading because you found out like they're not random attacks. It's an alien attack.
Yeah.
So to see kind of progress like that, I was like, oh, okay, cool, that makes sense. And then Pacific Rim 2 was terrible, so we'll talk about
that. Like I loved the idea. Like I like the general idea. Like they're trying to like terraform Earth. Like their first run was the dinosaurs. Like it, didn't work. Yeah, I thought that was cool.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, right. And you're trying to and that's why at the end it's trying to go into spoiler. That's why it's trying to go into the giant volcano to bring about the global the greenhouse effect, like irreversible damage. But yeah, the thing that I can't get past is that the robots move like people in the second one. They sprint. It's the power need like when a robot goes like that. But the robot is 100 stories tall. That means you have an arm that's moving like 200 feet up in a second. It's too. You can't get into it. I couldn't get into it. But yeah, it's. So do you think railguns are going to make a comeback, or not railguns, because they are making they're making an entrance.
We have those.
Yeah. I said it the wrong way. Do you think battleships are going to make a comeback and just replace the turrets with railguns?
Nah.
Damn it.
I think it's all gonna move to air and space.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be like, why have a ship on the sea when you have a spaceship in orbit that can hit anything? It doesn't need to be subjected to the harshness of the ocean and have to deal with storms and waves, and it can float in low orbit, and you're anywhere in our ocean. Guess what? We see you. Like, instead of being line of sight in a horizon, you're now above it, and it's like you can see all of it. So I think naval warfare is gonna. I mean, it already is a thing in the past, but I think it's gonna move away from that.
Yeah, it's. I think space-based weapons. I've always thought that is the ultimate end game, because if you could have like a ring of space-based weapons, let's just say they're at where the space station is, that just means you're always 220 miles from your enemy. That's nothing. Right
now, if you wanted to fire anything, a platinum rod, a railgun, a bullet, a missile, a rock, anything like that, you need some type of propellant. You need a reactionary force to go and move, right? You know what a relativistic kinetic kill vehicle is?
Yeah, rods from God.
Huh? Yeah, exactly.
Rod from God. Yeah.
Exactly. Or what's her name's General Hoth, or whoever the hell from the Star Wars movie who hit light speed and went into the ship.
Yeah.
Beautiful scene, by the way.
Yeah.
I squealed a little bit. I was like, oh, they did it! Even though they broke everything in Star Wars canon doing that.
Yeah.
That's another story. It's like, why didn't you do that in the Death Star? Yeah. But anyway,
box office.
You move into space, something like that. You don't need propellant anymore. You don't need. It's just
let go.
Drop. It's. Yeah. I mean, it could be literally as simple. Not even like propellant. It could be a fucking spring, something to eject that mass away from your ship, and you let gravity do the rest.
Yeah.
Or if it's not a platinum rod, if it's not a tungsten rod, and it is a little smaller, okay, cool. It is some type of electric magnetic projection rail system to speed it up, get it faster, quicker, if it's fair. But by no means would you need the expenditures of like gunpowder and rocket propellant in that aspect. It's just like, right there, I'm gonna drop. That's it.
Yeah.
And drop. Done. And then you move into laser weapons, which is a whole other.
I was gonna say that's the next stage of end game-ish, because once you get to the end game of dropping shit from space, well, now it becomes, who can get their thing there fastest? You get up there with a laser.
Battles are going to be any type of space warfare is going to be so outlandishly different than what anybody can possibly imagine and think of. Like, you will never see the other ship. You'll never be close enough to see the other ship, and it's just literally about letting. You have to, if you can just get the other ship to overheat quick enough, it's done. Yeah. And you can't vent heat in space. Like, there's nothing to absorb the heat in space.
There's no medium.
Exactly. So getting heat out of a spacecraft is actually pretty friggin' difficult.
Yeah.
You need to cool it down. And exactly. You forget what air does for us with radiation and all that. There's nothing there. There's nothing there to radiate. You know? You can't just vent it into the air, and there's no air.
Yeah. We got to think, man, would there even be space battles, or is it? Because right after we formed the nuke, a lot of people don't know this. Annie Jacobson talks about it in her book DARPA. But there's actually like a debate in the upper echelon, or I guess the inner rings, the upper echelons of the Pentagon, that like, should we just go nuke the Soviets and China? And it's like, we have this insane weapon that we know they're eventually going to get. They're like, do we just? I think Truman's quote was, "Do we just go lick the world? Do we just go give everyone sort of just beat them the fuck down, and then we are forever on top?" And we didn't do it, and we managed to get to this point without doing it.
There was a battle plan. I want to say it was in the Korean War. I'm pretty sure it was in the Korean War. Some random general had a proposition of using, I think 13 nuclear weapons up the peninsula of Korea.
Not random, Douglas MacArthur.
Was that?
It wasn't a random general. It was Douglas MacArthur.
It was MacArthur.
Yeah.
I saw I've seen that battle plan, and it's like, we're just gonna boop 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 boop, and just that was it.
Yeah.
No one signed off on it.
Nope. Well, he was fired eventually because Truman said we're not doing that, and then he called out Truman, and Truman was like, "Fuck you. Here's the big president dick. You don't talk shit about me."
That would have been a little much. That would have.
Yeah. But dude, think about it. If you it's the opportunity is coming up again. That if you can get like some laser death ray in space, you don't have to worry about other nations because as they're launching it, just zap them, zap their facilities, zap their. I mean, there's a whole bunch of moral and ethical questions. They haven't done anything yet, but it looks like it's just going to follow the nuclear arms race again. It's going to be mutually assured destruction because everyone's going to have a laser beam pointed at everyone. It's, yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh God, what was it? There was I remember reading a theory. It was how to do with that. It had to get into orbit, get into space, establish something, and then I can't remember what the hell it's called. But basically, you do so much destruction. You put so much shit into orbit. Basically, you blow up so much crap that's moving so fast. Nothing ever can take off from the planet.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's
you lock the planet down. That's it.
Prison planet.
It was like it was an extreme like insurance kind of thing. It's like you take off, you establish what you need to in orbit, you get a couple people out there, and then you lock the planet down. Like that's it, and nothing can take off. Like it would just that'd be it.
It would just be just like a constant swirl of just
debris. That's
orbital
it.
velocity. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's some weird shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, that's true. There was a plan in like the 50s where we thought if we detonated something like a nuke every like 6 minutes in our atmosphere, there was some effect where like we were going to detonate something like thousands of nukes a year above the United States, but we were going to be able to basically create this like shield of electrons that would fry any incoming ICBM. So we literally were going to create like a shield. Just like, yeah, but I think they decided not to because all the radioactive material.
Yeah, there's that that's our radiation right there.
Yeah.
Oh, always getting in the damn way.
Jesus.
Damn.
All right, Franklin, we're coming up on exactly an hour, and I don't want to hold you up. I got nothing doing.
I'm going for a little longer.
All right, yeah, I got nothing. Yeah, I don't want to hold you hostage because I have done that with guests before, where I realize they're kind of tired. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm sorry, I've been talking to you for 7 hours.
If I end up here,
I got you. I'll just close it off.
That's it. Be like, all right, this is Frank. Son.
This is Frank. But so, do you think that, or is it just going to go drones? Do you think that making like Iron Man suits, do you think it's like a great movie idea, but it's like not, it would just be drones, or it would just
be drones?
Yeah, it wouldn't even be the human form. Why do that when you could just have a bunch of like...
It would never be the human form. It wouldn't be. It really... Drone anatomy wise, it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
The only reason we may ever make robots and drones in the human form is to appease our visual representation. That's it.
Yeah.
And it also would, but the only benefit you would ever do in that instance is to allow a drone to interact with human-based objects to get in a car and drive. It would need to be pretty human-shaped to operate doors and stairs and stuff. There's certain needs, but then if you're talking just warfare and battlefields where like everything in there is made for that specific weapon, who cares what it looks like? Does it have? Can it move quicker? Does it have 4 legs? Does it have tracks? Is it a spider type of thing? Like, who cares what it looks like? It does. It goes out there, does this thing, comes back. Yeah.
Or would it just be like? Would it be something that could just transform to the most efficient form?
It could be adaptive. It could absolutely be adaptive.
Spider for a tunnel. It could be.
Something in water needs to be shaped very differently than something in air.
Yeah.
And if if it's flying and it wants to go into a building, well, it's probably need to change again.
Yeah.
So some type of adaptation, that would probably work too.
Yeah. So that just be like
like a multi-role drone, basically. Yeah. Like it can do a bunch of things.
So is that just like? So would that be? So what do you think is going? Even though it's really just getting started, what do you think is going to replace 3D printing? Is that going to be nanotechnology, or is that in a way kind of 3D printing just at a hyper small scale? Because nanotechnology, you could have the helmet and then snap your fingers, and now it could be a spider going through a tunnel. Snap your fingers. Now it could look like a bat with a laser on it.
There's so much wrong with our interpretations of what nanotechnology is and or could be.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's tricky.
It's not nanobots.
Like nanoscopic billions, inconceivable amounts of microscopic robots combining to do a thing. Now, at the base, that thing could only really ever be mechanical. It could make a hand, and then the hand can serve its mechanical function. It could make a gun, but that gun can't fire. You know, that gun, where are you going to get the nanobot can't be gunpowder. It could be the bullet. It could be everything else, but there's no reactionary force. Unless now you have particular nanobots that have gunpowder in them. And then you're like, all right, well, then what do you prepare for? You know, like, how do you prepare for, you know, like, all right, cool. Now some of them have gunpowder in them, but all right, now you need it to produce some type of electrical current. All right, now do each of the robots have electrical conduits through them, and you can... But that's going to create resistance because now you have electricity traveling through all these there's these layers, and then some problem with like Iron Man's suit. Where the hell does the color come from?
Yeah, you're right.
Why does it? Where? Because when he does the thing, you see all the nanobots start coming out and going around. I mean, it's nanotech, but like. So like you programmed in there that you wanted these particular nanites to then be able to reflect red light. So like that was a design choice, you know? So it's all these, it's nanotech, it can do anything. No, it can't. It can only do what you tell it to do.
Yeah.
And he made it so it looks this color. He made it so it has a freeze ray in it. He made it so it has propellant and thrusters. You know, so there's all this extra layers. Like, yeah, you can make a nanite, but now you need to somehow program it and tell what the hell to do, which is just... And the theory of something like nanotech is every single one of those nanites can serve every single function of that object.
Yeah. It
doesn't matter if it's here or here, you can swap them and they'll know exactly what to do based on their positions. Almost like stem cells, actually. So depending on what's it's around, it knows what function it needs to serve. And that's the data you would need to put in something like that. Like, what? You know? Because once that nanite becomes disconnected, how is it possibly ever going to know what to do, you know? So there has to be just this, it's like quantum computing level. Like, it's ridiculous. It's a cool concept, but like, I don't think we'll ever have anything close to, you know, suit, you know? And like, where's all the weight go?
Well, it could be.
Does his arc reactor weigh, is it the weight of a suit? Or
is the suit super efficient and it's just like one nanite thick?
It can't be, because he got his shit pushed in on Titan. That suit was thin. That's why in Endgame his suit was buffer and bigger. He learned. He actually went through 35 iterations after he got his ass kicked on Titan. He was like, well, there was some stuff wrong with my suit, because he thought he peaked. Yeah. Like, nanotech, I can do anything. And Thanos quickly reminded him that he couldn't. Yeah. So he upgraded his suit. He did a lot. He fixed a lot of things on it. And it was beefier. It had more muscle. It had more nanite mass. And even as you see it building, you can see layers being created. You can see conduits in it. So it has some thickness to it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. But how big? Yeah, how heavy is it?
Where's the weight?
Yeah.
Now, the theory behind the bleeding edge tech in the comics is the bleeding edge armor, the nanotech armor in the comics, is in his skin. It comes. That's why it's the bleeding edge. It comes when he activates it. It comes out of his skin and forms.
Okay,
I don't think they wanted to go that gross in the MCU, so it was in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. It's again, it's all visual. It all looks great. It's cool. But,
I think he kind of showed or whether or not they meant to, the importance of sort of swarms at the end of Iron Man 3 when he's fighting they're using the veterans and they like glow orange, you know what I'm talking about? Extremis, yeah. When he's fighting that guy at the end, I mean, really, that when he has the house party protocol and he brings all of them, to me that really that was better than any one suit. Like, if you can just bring in a swarm, whenever he teams up with Iron Patriot, excuse me, Iron Patriot, a War Machine, it's already amplified 1,000,000-fold. So if you can bring in a whole just drone army, it kind of doesn't matter what one suit can do.
Exactly.
That and I just don't. It's a simple kind of. It's kind of like a like a Soviet fix, but like there's nothing that like the Hulkbuster. I feel like any of the other suits could do against it. Maybe you could just say it was too bulky, but I mean, even then, he hasn't shot down from orbit. It's it's there.
The Hulkbuster was pretty big.
It's just he has was it Veronica? He just has it floating above him, and it comes straight down. It's only 220 miles. That's nothing. So I don't know. Are you ever going to make a Hulkbuster?
Why do you bring that up?
I'm sorry.
No, like what? Just because we naturally moved into that part of the conversation?
Well, I'm thinking as I'm talking to you, I'm literally looking around at all your Iron Man shit, and now I'm thinking about Hulkbuster, and I'm like, wait.
That has to be one of the most asked questions I get on like
really?
on Instagram and YouTube. Sorry. They're like, are you gonna make a Hulkbuster? Yeah, send me the money. I actually just had an idea for that, and it was literally why you went to go take a piss. I don't know why I thought of it. I don't know. Maybe somebody. I don't know. It's always been in the back of my head. Like, a actual full-sized Hulkbuster.
That's like the size of my house. It's 2 stories.
Insane. Now, people have made cosplays for it, but it's always scaled down a little bit because, well, practicality. It's still a thing you need to keep somewhere. I literally half an hour ago had an idea. Open source Hulkbuster.
Okay.
Where I know a lot of people with a lot of 3D printers.
Everyone makes a piece.
Everyone makes a really small piece, sends it in, and that'd be a pretty cool like community kind of project to like organize. And
you'd have to put it, you have to like give it to like Marvel Studios or something, or put it in Disney.
Then I'd have to donate something like that. I'd have to donate somewhere.
Oh yeah, you couldn't.
You'd have to.
I don't know. Just put it in front of your house. That'd be badass.
Right, just the Hulkbuster.
Wrap around driveway.
I want to see canonically how tall the Mark 1 Hulkbuster is.
Okay, well, I'm gonna guess. 20 feet, 25. Because he throws like, let's see, he picks up like an elevator.
He picks up an elevator.
He can lock his hand around the Hulk's fist. How big is the Hulk's fist? It's pretty much the size of like the top of like Black Widow. It's shit. I don't know. 20 feet tall. It's pretty big. It's huge. It's fucking huge.
It is a big, beefy boy. Capabilities, HUD, sleeping gas. Oh, man, they don't have like a...
Can you not find like a scale with it?
I want to know. Height.
Dimensions?
11 feet.
What? No, that's bullshit.
The Hulkbuster is 11 feet high, which makes it the tallest armor to date. Its height is 3 feet taller than the Hulk. I don't know, maybe. Because there's figures that show, no, that actually works out. I don't know if you can see it, but that's Nick Fury standing next to the Hulkbuster. So I'm kind of imagining that size being in, because it's big, but it's not like.
Well, it's got to be able to fit his whole top half in just the top, right? Because doesn't he
his arms don't go through it like arms. His arms are here actually inside the suit.
Oh, I know.
He's controlling it like this.
Yeah.
Because the Hulk rips his arms off a couple times.
Yeah.
His legs are where they need to be, but his arms are actually more a little bit kind of down here, and he's doing this and fighting. That'd be pretty cool to have a bunch of people print parts for that. And just assemble it, that would be
badass, dude. That would be incredible.
It's very red, 11 feet tall. Oh my god.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. A professional basketball hoop rim is 10 feet.
Yeah, that's a big boy.
Yeah, so maybe like the top of, I don't know, like the white square on a basketball hoop halfway up the backboard, maybe. I think the top of the backboard is 14 feet. On an NBA.
Yeah, that sounds about right. This thing, hey, I can move and talk to you.
Jesus, what the? I saw a picture of you with that on one of your thumbnails.
So this is 6.5 feet tall.
Jesus.
So, and I'm 5'8".
Shout out 5'8".
So this standing on top, like me and this together would be the Hulkbuster.
Well, how tall is it without the handle? I don't know if you're 5'8". I don't know, 5'6", 5. I can't.
I don't know. The handle is 15 inches tall.
So what would it be? Just like take off the handle? It'd be 2 of those.
Yeah, actually, yeah, roughly. God, that's big.
Yeah.
That'd be like so cool though. To like,
that would be incredible.
I just don't know what I would do with the damn thing. And I know not everybody would be on board with it.
I bet you, dude, there are 7 billion people in the world. There are 2 billion people on YouTube. You can absolutely find enough. I mean, you can absolutely.
I'm gonna drop this thing if I try that. Lay that down. But
how big is that? How big is the Hulkbuster's helmet?
What's that?
How big is the Hulkbuster head? Because it doesn't. It's like a
pretty big actually.
It's like a juggernaut type.
Like that.
What if you just started with a Hulkbuster head?
They have the files for it. They're out there.
I bet if you made a head and showed it like a super realistic, like put your A game into it, I bet that would be enough to get people excited to contribute to a.
That would be, yeah. It'd be kind of wild. Let's see. I think I know who made the Hulkbuster suit. There's a couple people, and I know some other people who would be down to model something like that, like a actual full-size Hulkbuster. Armor, STL, cosplay, Hulkbuster.
Would you just want one person to make it though, so it's a uniform? Because what if some people aren't putting in the same like stringent, because you hold yourself to a pretty high level of quality control. What if someone sent in like an arm that was fucked up and sorry, I was busy, and it's just like, God damn it. So would you rather? Yeah, you probably just need people to send money.
It'd be tricky. It'd be very tricky on where you had to draw that line and where you.
I think you'd need one person to make it. I think you'd want like a uniform quality. Because what if you have 1,000 people work on it and you get half of the pieces are just shit?
Yeah, it'd be. There'd have to be some type of quality control, and I think that'd be fair to state. Like, if we need some quality here. We don't want to put parts on that are going to look bad. But also the problem is nobody could send them painted. That's the problem, because not everybody's going to get the same color.
Exactly.
So they would all need to be primered parts.
I think you just have to make it. I think it has to be a frankly built production. I don't
have that type of money.
How much would it cost to create it? Like, not just man hours. Like, let's say
that would be at least something that size, an 11-foot Iron Man suit.
A year?
No, more than that. That we were talking probably about 40 plus rolls of plastic, where my suit only took 14, because the structure, and then that's not even including the internal structure. It would need to be like a metal frame I'd have to mock up, where like I could like lock everything on.
Yeah, because what if it destroys itself in its own weight?
Yeah, exactly.
Just
it would basically just need to be a frame like that, just like metal, and everything. The legs are supported completely by themselves, but then the waist is there, but it's supported by the metal frame in the legs. So it's not sharing any weight. It'd be pretty light, honestly. It wouldn't be it's a lot of plastic, but even still, it wouldn't be that heavy. The frame inside would have to be heavier to make sure it never moved.
Yeah.
It'd be wild. It'd be a wild project for sure.
I think you could do it.
I'd love to do that, but I got to finish my own damn suit first. So
can you give me a review of what you already have, or is that?
I have all. It's all. We're gonna have a little shaky for a second here. Sorry, folks.
It doesn't matter, man.
But
Jesus Christ.
That's the suit.
Jesus.
Where are my printers? Oh no.
Yeah.
That's them.
Where are your printers?
I moved rooms. They're in a different room now, because this lets me have more room in here. We were able to clear out another room, which actually we're getting rid of some furniture from that other room, and the guy who's coming to pick it up is on his way over. I just got a text for it. So when he gets here, I am gonna have to go.
No worries, man.
But he's still a couple minutes.
You're fine.
So yeah, now I have more room. It's literally that part right there. That's the new like crotch piece. The old one just didn't fit right. It didn't like line up with the abs and legs properly, so I had to print a new part. And it's not painted because I couldn't get my hands on the paint. Today, literally, I went to the store and they were restocked. So I'm back in hardware mode, and it's just fitting everything together and getting it to work a little bit more coherently. Everything, like, I can stand in it and it looks great, but I can't really move in it yet. I need to the biceps fall down, so I need to lock them to the shoulders better, and I have to redo all my wiring. I hate it.
Why do you have to redo the wiring?
I don't like it. I don't like how it all operates. I don't like how I wired it. I've learned so goddamn much during this whole it's unreal. And the things I would do differently this time, like my next armor is already very different, and I know what to do now, and I know more importantly, I know what not to do.
Okay.
And that's crucial for building. But I just don't like the way some of the wires are routed. I need to adjust a lot of things. So, and I'm down for it. It's intimidating, but it's just like I have to do it. I want this to be perfect. So there's a lot I have to fix and go back. But now I have access to the paint, and I can finish the cod piece. I have a new helmet printed for it. It's almost done. So I just need the jaw. So this one's motorized. This one actually has the servos and stuff. So it'll be a lot more comfortable. So now I can paint this one. Actually, wait a minute. I'm not crazy. I think. Hopefully. Tink.
Fuck yeah.
It gets a little stuck. I gotta trim it out a little bit, but.
That's amazing. That is insane.
It's a good speed. It's the same size helmet as this one, just the innards are just wired differently. So I just have a lot to finish. It's gonna look good.
What's that camo one?
That camo one was for a friend. I've been waiting on parts for it for a while now. Red LED eyes.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, I like this one.
That is awesome.
Yeah, he has Evo. He has an Evo 10 and a Corvette C5 or C6. They're both camo, wrapped in camo white. And he's like, dude, can you make me a helmet that matches my paint job? And I'm like, I can try. So that's what this one is. Everybody calls it the War Machine helmet, but it's a Mark 85 helmet, but just camo wrapped. Awesome. And I like it. The red eyes aren't hooked up right now, but they look mucho great in it.
Yeah, I love it. That looks awesome.
Yeah. So this will be gone soon. Literally, like, all these helmets are gone. This is for my buddy. This is for Oscar, Robert, some kid in Australia, some kid in Pennsylvania. That's going to some other kid. I might do a giveaway there's another helmet in my display case over there. I might get rid of that one because I have my new helmet now. And then the unpainted one that's up there is for my new suit, that one. So
now
it's fun.
Now that you've like learned how to do all this shit, are you getting faster at it?
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, so you can streamline it. All right, hell yeah.
Very much faster. It takes me 20 hours to print a helmet, total, all three parts, 20 hours, and I can paint it. I can have it primed, painted, and assembled in about 2 hours. Finishing electronics another hour. So I can pump these out pretty quickly now. The battle damage takes the longest. That takes me like an hour and a half, 2 hours to do. Between the weathering, trying to mix up all like the right rust colors for some of the you can see rust and stains all around the side of it and all here. Mixing that all up, but now I know how to mix it up. So I'm already faster than I was last time. So
Jesus.
Learning.
All right, man. Well, I don't want to keep you because I know that guy's coming over. I don't want you to have to run at the last second. So I'll let you go.
Cool. Thank you for having me,
dude. Thank you for coming on.
Different things we were probably planning on, but it was still fun.
Dude, I never plan on talking about anything. I fucking dude. I loved it. I love talking about random shit and going deep into what the hell's gonna come next. I'll watch Altered Carbon and man, I'd love to talk again about what the hell's
For
in
sure.
store. Yeah, man. I have no script. It's not like today Frank and I are talking about 3D printing. I don't give a shit, man. We can talk about whatever. We can talk about veganism and how it's interconnected with global commerce. I don't give a fuck. I have a good time. As long as it's natural, man, I enjoy it. Frankly, Bill, thank you so much, sir. And
Thank you for having me, my guy. I appreciate it.
Dude, anytime, man. Please come back again. Let's do another one. And hell yeah, man. I'm gonna come back. Sorry for asking about the Hulkbuster. That wasn't planned, I promise. No one put me up.
I think because so many people ask, I think I might have to look into that as a project.
I was gonna say the love dropped from your face. You're like, why did you ask me that? And I was like, is this a personal thing? I'm sorry.
Did I hit a nerve? No,
yeah, I was like,
funny.
I don't want to talk about it. All right, man. Thank you so much, and Godspeed, Frank.
Hey, take it easy, man.
Peace, buddy.